everybody, and welcome back to Theja's YouTube. Pretty much what I do here is I review the most interesting laptops to come through the gaming market, and what I have for you this month is once again from Dell. This is their Studio 16 XPS 1645 notebook, which uses the Core i7 processor, once again rated from 1.6 to 2.8 gigahertz, and also the Radeon 5730 graphics card with 1 gigabyte of DDR3 VRAM. Now, we all know that those kind of specs automatically can play PC games, but the question is... will it blend? I'm gonna push the f no button.
This is Dell's latest flagship entertainment notebook, the Studio 16 XPS 1645. It uses the Core i7 720QM processor, the Radeon 5730 graphics card, and 4 gigabytes of DDR3 RAM to speed through whatever multimedia application you throw at it. It's also rumored that the available leather trim is required for Excel to even boot. Let's take a look at what you get in the box. Dell likes to ship whatever first-class notebook it has in its fleet in black-on-black boxes, and just like the M11X, the Studio 16 XPS comes wrapped in a black velvet condom. Very classy indeed. The power brick even shares the same style cues as Dell's Alienware cousins. What seems to be mysteriously absent this time around is the Windows recovery disk, which Dell insists you create yourself, and of course, using Dell's own software. There is still a driver's disk included, in case you miss Dell's bloated software upon a fresh installation of Windows 7, and then a Sound Blaster X-Fi installation CD, which you may or may not like depending on your status as an audiophile. I personally found it worth living without the extra reverb effects. Windows boots up just fine upon first use, and the battery life tells me that this 9-cell is nothing special and will last for a little under 2 hours under normal internet work use. Let's take a look at the ports. On the front we have some indication lights. On the right side there is an express card slot, a card reader, FireWire, the slot-loading optical drive, an eSATA USB combo port, and the DC in. On the back is the vent, and on the left we have a lock slot, VGA out, a LAN port, display and HDMI ports, 2 more USBs for a total of 3, and your audio ins. The top of the notebook has the usual chromed out Dell insignia, nothing special, and the bottom is littered with nifty X's and a protruding 9-cell battery, which helps out a lot with heat distribution and lap comfort. Well, that's the outside. What's the inside look like? Ooh, that's nice. I have a soft spot in my heart for notebooks that get this naked. You can easily see the Core i7 processor, the 4 gigabytes of RAM, the 320 gigabyte hard drive, an available SIM card slot, the subwoofer, and of course the Radeon 5730 graphics card, which here is inaccessible. The screen on this particular notebook just has to be set up at 1080p, which naturally looks incredibly crisp, and the color definition is insanely brilliant. After using this screen for a week and then going back to the Asus G60, it's as though each laptop has the exact same screen, except that someone has opened up the G60's LCD and poured bleach in behind the pixels. Seriously, compared to the XPS, there is no comparison. The G60 just looks washed out and cheap. The only thing I can complain about is that on a 15.6-inch 1080p screen, the text is really, really tiny, and you'll have to take advantage of Windows 7's handy accessibility features in order to ensure a comfortable reading and browsing experience. The keyboard of the XPS is also a fine point on the notebook. Illuminated from underneath, it shines bright in the dark and is still easy on the eyes. It also is 100% accurate and misses no keystrokes. Unfortunately, Dell thought it best not to cover the speakers instead of giving you a 10-key numpad. Personally, I would have simply preferred the downgraded speaker quality. Above the keyboard you'll see the touch-sensitive keys. Remember when I said the Acer needed a mute button? Guess what this guy has. Also, the eject button doesn't seem to work inside the Windows environment, only outside, which is rather odd, but you still can eject from the My Computer window. Let's hope this is just an isolated software glitch. Another gripe is that the texture of the keyboard, never mind the whole rest of the notebook, will get smudgy even after first use. and the keyboard keys especially will be difficult to clean and make pretty. The touchpad blends seamlessly into the palm rest, save for an indented surface. It is very easy to use, with multi-gestures that feel natural, and the touchpad keys are silent and not a unibutton, which is very much a sight for sore eyes. The speakers themselves have a very nice clarity, use an included subwoofer, and make the whole laptop vibrate when turned up. The sound range is almost full, but they are still bested by the Asus G73, and I can see multimedia users still utilizing 2 tweeters and a woofer. It was a very tough call, though. Let's talk gaming. This Dell can game. The included Radeon 5730 can deliver medium details in your favorite games and in 1080p for the most part. However, the Windows Experience Index has trouble distinguishing this GDDR3 model from the 5650, and your eyes will not betray that sentiment as frame rates are comparable to the Acer 5740, albeit at a much higher resolution. Also, this notebook does have the tendency to become very hot. The fan will turn on during games even if you're using a cooling pad, and it is very loud. What doesn't help this is the fact that when the screen tilts back, the bottom part of the screen gets very close to the vent, looking as though it blocks it, which seems about as useful as a 2-minute jog for a fat guy. To Pizza Hut. Also look out for the palm rest, especially under the hard drive. It gets almost uncomfortably warm. Luckily, your lap is spared by the protruding 9-cell battery, but I wouldn't recommend gaming on this laptop without a cooling pad anyway. In conclusion, students get the thumbs up. Sure, the price tag may be a bit hard to swallow, but if you can afford it, this would be a nice notebook to carry around campus with you. It'll be heavier than other student bread notebooks, but it's faster, the keyboard is awesome for typing out a research paper, and the touchpad is silent for the classroom. Turn off the wireless, and it'll even last you a whole class period. Gamers get a thumbs up and a thumbs down. Competitive gamers will want to stay clear, because the Asus G Series is still cheaper and more powerful, plus you can get an external monitor and keyboard to make up for the shortcomings and still save some coin. Casual gamers will appreciate that the Dell has the best of everything to offer in one small package, though you may want to opt for the lower res screen so that you can actually see what you're doing. Graphics designers, power users, desktop replacement seekers, and even business users all have my blessing thanks to the Core i7 and 1080p screen, but you will all want to use an external numpad and a USB hub of some sort.
Okay everybody, thank you for watching my feature presentation of the Dell Studio 16 XPS 1645 notebook. Remember, this guy's going to be up for sale. Here's some video game footage.